we've got on the line with us, joining us all the way from the
Not
United
much.
States, George, the one and only George Foreman. Hi, George.
This is George Foreman. Good to hear from you.
Hi, George. What a pleasure and what an honor to be speaking to the one and only George Foreman. First of all, I've got to ask you, how you doing, George?
I'm living a good life, all happy and sassy and everything that goes along with happy.
That's so good to hear. And how's your health?
You know what? If I felt any better, they'd probably put me in jail.
Well, George, you know what? We've got a lot of people that are tuning in just to basically listen to your voice and just to basically hear what you've got to say. George, you're an amazing person that's had an amazing life and an amazing career. A total of 81 fights, with 76 wins, and 68 of those 76 wins coming by KO. That is a one of the best heavyweight careers in the history of boxing. But George, what I want to ask you is, back in 1969 when you stepped in the ring and made your debut, that heavyweight division, was one with you had Sonny Liston, you had Joe Frazier, you had Ernie Terrell, you had George Chuvalo, you had Ken Norton, Muhammad Ali. That was a circuit and a half to be entering into. George, just talk us through that. How did you get into boxing, and what was it like being around such other great legends of the sport?
Boy, I have had a tour through boxing. I was in a day room at a job corps center in the early 60s, and Muhammad Ali was Cassius Clay then, fighting Floyd Patterson for the championship of the world. All the kids looked at me and said, "You big bully George, you think you are so tough. Why don't you become a boxer?" And can you believe I went into a gym in California, met a trainer, just because of that bluff or that challenge I took. The next thing you know, I was sparring with Sonny Liston because
Wow.
there weren't any big guys around. He tore me up. I couldn't deal with him, but I sure learned to box because I couldn't exist in a ring with Sonny Liston not being able to box. You had to move, buddy. You had to move. Uh,
Wow. And
and then, within a brief period of time, I was on the Olympic team. 1 year, started to box. A year and a half later, I was an Olympic gold medalist. All because of the big punch. I never did get to be skillful because I'd knock guys out quickly.
wow. So who was your role model? Who did you want to aspire to be to? Who was your one person you thought, what, I want to be like him?
The first time I met Sonny Liston, I thought, man, that's a champion of the world. He had nice fitted clothes, nice haircut, the shoes were shine. He walked into the gym and people wanted his autograph, and if they didn't, they feared him because of it. That's who I wanted to be. I patterned myself, staring people in their face, being mean, all because I love that Sonny Liston.
Wow. So Son Liston was your hero. And George, when you came into the ring, like you said, you fought against Joe Frazier, Ken Norton. These were guys that went like sort of like the distance with Muhammad Ali, and even beat Muhammad Ali. And you come on the ring and absolutely annihilated these guys. I mean, talking about knock them off of the canvas. What was it that basically in your style that gave you the ability to do that?
A puncher. And I met guys who were filled with pride. If you hit them, they would say, "You're not going to get away with that," and they try to hit me back. And then that opted for a nice knockout. They fought me. Style and pride. When you have a lot of pride, that's the one thing next is to get knocked out. Muhammad Ali didn't have that same kind of pride at all. You heard the story of wolves in sheep clothing.
Hmm.
Muhammad Ali disguised himself. That big, strong guy, He was so good looking. You look across the ring and you said, that nice looking guy can't fight. And you, like an idiot, would be attacking a wolf. And you thinking it's just a lamb. Then all of a sudden you've been hit with those big punches and you've been annihilated because you just didn't think this guy could fight. He could fight. Now with Joe Frazier, I hit him hard. He said, I'm going to get up and get you. Norton, I'm going to get up and get you. But when I hurt Muhammad Ali, he said, I'm just going to cover up. I'm not going to fight you. He outsmarted me.
Wow. And Muhammad Ali, look, it's been 2 years, and we are marking the 2 years of his passing away. And you and Muhammad Ali had a very special relationship, both in the ring and outside of the ring. And I want to ask you, going back to that 1974 Kinshasa Zaire, the Rumble in the Jungle, the fight that's been labelled as the fight of boxing history. First thing I want to ask you is, were you confident going into that fight that you would beat him?
I thought the fight could go at the most 3 rounds. I figured I'd knock him out in the first round, mostly. And this first round passed, I said, I'll get him the next round. The third round, I said, I got him now. And I really thought I had him. When I hit him hard in the third round, he fell over on me. I thought he was going to fall. He fell over and whispered, "Get all you got, George." I knew then I was in the fight of my life because that was all I had about the fourth round.
Wow.
So it was after the fourth round that you started thinking, wow, this is getting a bit too much now.
That's right, because I had prepared to knock him out. I hadn't prepared to go 15 rounds. No one had gone 15 rounds with me. I hadn't prepared to be a boxer and to wait and to use my skill and bob and weave and take my time. I hadn't prepared for that.
Wow.
All my trainers and managers were prepared to just go into the room, go into the ring, put the stool down, and wait a few moments and put his robe on and raise his hand. That's all we were prepared for.
Wow.
We were in shock. When that fight had started to go 4, 5, 6 rounds, we were in shock. All of us.
Wow. What a legend, George. What a legend. And were you ever hurt during the fight?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I was following Muhammad Ali around trying to get him to fight because he kept covering up. And I came off the ropes to get him. When I did, he turned and faced me with the most fast 1-2 I'd ever seen, let alone felt. 1-2, pow, right on the chin. I said, wow, look at this, look at this. Boom, I'm hitting the canvas and then listening to the referee count. It was a stinging punch. It didn't hurt me, but boy, it was right on the point.
Wow.
I remember thinking, I can't fall. I tried to break the fall. And I could have gotten up, but my trainer told me to stay down, wait to the count of 8. When I jumped up, the fight was over.
Wow.
Good for me. Good for me.
George, and you know what? I mean, that fight. I mean, I've watched it no less than 50 times, and that's from the opening bell to the end. I've watched that fight no less than 50 times. And I noticed in the beginning, Ali comes over to you when you're standing there with the referee, and he's whispering something to you. What's he actually saying to you then?
It is strange because I was angry with him, and I was trying to stare him down and strike him out. And he would not look at me. Because you've heard the rumors that he psyched me out. That man, we never met. We never talked before that fight. We were in Alpha together for a month. We never even talked. But now he gets into the ring, and someone had told him to tell me this. He looked me up and he whispered, "George, you were in high school when I fought Sonny Liston. You don't belong in here." And I was staring at him so hard, and I almost started laughing because I'd never spent a day of my life in high school. I was thinking someone told him wrong.
George, and George, the other thing was, obviously after the fight, the fight's ended. You've lost the heavyweight champion. Muhammad Ali's regained the title, but you had a very special relationship with Ali outside the ring. Talk to me about, after that fight. Did you hate him for it, and where did you start talking again after that fight?
Or after I lost that title, I mustered up all I could think about it was revenge. And I hated Muhammad Ali. I hated. Couldn't stand to see him on television. I couldn't stand to see him walk around. And when they started calling him champ, I used to almost cry. I hated it. And then during the '77, I had an experience. I was dead and alive in the dressing room. I had a chance to. They call it being born again. I didn't know that was life and death and God and Jesus. I experienced it all in a split second. I came home, tried to explain it to my friends and family. I became an evangelist. Started telling the whole world, Jesus Christ is coming alive in me. Everybody thought first I was crazy. Then one year, Muhammad Ali was fighting one of the Spinks brothers in the Astrodome. In the big Superdome down in New Orleans. And a reporter came to visit me. I was working on my ranch, retired from boxing. He said, "What happened in Africa, George?" About excuses. I said, "You know what? I lost." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I got beat. Muhammad Ali beat me." He said, "Are you kidding?" I said, "Yep, I lost." From that point on, I found peace. Then I thought about all the time and years I'd wasted with my revenge. One of the best guys I'd ever known in my life was Muhammad Ali. I'd lost time on having a great friendship because I couldn't get over that loss. And then from that point on, we started to make contact, appear together, shake hands, hug. He became the best friend I had alive for more years than anyone else. My friend. And I miss my friend even to this day.
Yeah, obviously you've got a very special relationship, so you missing him is going to be very different from maybe somebody that didn't get to meet him missing him. But I mean, for George, what does Muhammad Ali actually mean to you? What does he stand up for? Because obviously there's the boxing element and there's all the work that he done outside of the ring. If you were to sum it up and say Muhammad Ali, what does he stand for and what does he mean to you?
I tell you this little quick story.
Yeah, sure.
I was dating a guy. I had a guy to bring over a girl to have dinner with me. I was just won the Olympic at a hotel. I was a gold medalist too, and I was training for a boxing match. And he brought the girlfriend over. She was a nice looking girl, and I thought this is going to be my girlfriend after the fight. And he told her, George is a fighter, a boxer. She said, "Really?" And she said, "Oh, I saw a fighter once, Muhammad Ali, and he was standing on the corner with just a T-shirt and a pair of jeans, and he was saying, 'Look at me, I'm beautiful. Look at me, I'm pretty.'" And she said, "He was pretty too. He was beautiful." And you know what? I never dated that girl again. I never spoke to her again. Then one day I'm in the streets of New York City before a boxing match, and I see a crowd coming down the street. I don't know what's going on, so I moved faster. Finally, I looked to see what it was. They were following this guy. It was Muhammad Ali. He just had on like a regular little sweatshirt, T-shirt, and a slack. And guess what? He was beautiful.
Wow.
I said that girl was not lying. She wasn't trying to put on or drop me or make me feel bad. When you think about Muhammad Ali, the word beautiful, that's the only thing come to my mind. Wow. This was a beautiful human being, and he was beautiful inside because he's screaming, "Hey, George Foreman, look at George Foreman." Came over to me like I was really something. I hadn't made a name for myself. That's George Foreman. Started shadowboxing with me, talk with me. Wow. The guy was not just beautiful on the outside, but inside and out. He was a beautiful man. So the word beauty, now, that's Muhammad Ali.
Wow, that's so
Powerful.
So powerful, and it's so warming to hear as well.
But I'm still jealous of him though. Don't get me wrong.
And actually, that is my next question. I mean, how do you feel? I mean, having lost that fight in King Shahrazad, but you were still part of it. You were still part of that history. So whenever Ali's mentioned, George Foreman's gonna always be mentioned. How does that make you feel that you were there?
Look, they had this movie When We Were Kings.
Yeah.
I saw the movie, and I call it When I Was a Fool. But I keep watching that film. I'm watching the fight in Zaire, George Foreman and Muhammad Ali. I watch it, and you know what? Each time I keep thinking I'm going to win.
Wow.
Wow,
I keep thinking, I got it this time. I got it this time. And here comes the 8th round, and I'm counting out again.
wow.
I mean, you live in that moment. You enjoy the moment. It's a good thing it happened. I got the film to remember for the rest of my days, but that's the way it goes.
That
The
is
loss
the way.
was good, but that was so many years ago. If I had won, it still would have been so many years ago. The best thing about it, I'm friends with Muhammad Ali's children now. His daughters and my daughters are good friends.
Wow.
I wouldn't change anything about my life. I love this whole thing.
Wow, wow, George. George, just before we end, I mean, I want to talk about your comeback because that is, there's so much that I can talk to you about. Obviously, we're doing this Ali tribute, and that's what we've got you here for. And it was so nice for you to hear your personal story about your relationship with Muhammad Ali. But come on, George, how did you do that at the age of 45? When guys are like retired, it's been 10, 15 years since they retired. You make a comeback and you against Michael Moore and knock him out in the 10th round. Talk to me. How did that happen, man? What inspired you to get back in the ring and do it all over again?
You go out and have 9 kids, 10 kids, and they all come to you like the birds in the tree with their mouth open. You'll do it too. That's what happened. I mean, my kids were hungry, and they have the nerve to want to go to college and school and all of that. And then when you're in, it's easy. I have 5 sons, all named George, and they all sit at the table. No matter what you put out there, it's empty in no time. I was inspired by my children. That's how.
Wow.
Wow. And you came back and you did it, man. You knocked this guy out, Spark, because that fight was going. It was looking like it was going the distance, and then out of nowhere, boom! You just got him, and
yeah, I was going. Michael Moore was putting it on me. Then about the 10th round, he looked at me with that same look that Muhammad Ali said, "Is that all you got, George?" I saw that same look on Michael Moore. But this time, I looked at him, and he said with that same look, "That's all you got, George?" And I said, "No, this time I got the lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine."
So that's where you got that's where you got the lingo from, yeah?
Yeah, the George Foreman grill. That's how I got it.
And you know what? We can't basically let you go without talking about your grilling machine, man.
Yeah.
George, tell us about how did you get this grilling machine, and where are we going with this now? Because I've got one at home, and you know what? All of my grilled food, whenever I do decide to have grilled food,
Which is very rare.
but does come from the lean, mean grilling machine. Where are we
It's
going
caused a
with this?
revolution. It's caused a revolution, George. I mean, in UK, people are getting very health
Yeah,
conscious.
now it's put everybody in the mood to come up with a grill. So
Yes.
everybody's eating pretty healthy now.
Yeah.
The world is in a good state now because of that grill. Everyone is thinking about ways to keep long life going and good health. That grill was the beginning of it. Everybody laughed at me at first,
It's
but
true.
then you sell 20 million of those things, and then all of a sudden the joke is on you.
And what are you doing nowadays, George? What are you doing with your life nowadays?
No, I'm still a full-time minister, and evangelist at the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ. I still preach, and I travel all over the country trying to inspire people. A lot of people feel I can't do it, and sometimes I just show up and they say, "Oh, he did it," and that's the end of it. They don't want to hear what I say. They just look at me and say, "I can do it." But I travel preaching, trying to inspire kids. I have a youth center where I teach kids if they want to learn how to box. But then after a few boxing matches, they decide, "Man, I want an education." That's good.
Excellent. And George, when are you coming to the UK, man? We are absolutely would love to host you, man.
Yeah, the UK, my home away from home. I love the United Kingdom. I love it. That's where I get mushrooms for breakfast. Oh, I love it.
So when's your next visit? You got anything in the pipeline? Anything planned?
One. As soon as I thought about my appetite, I thought maybe I should go next week. But I'm going to try to arrange something and get over there as quick as I can, because I often think about, when I think about travel, I'm thinking about especially London. I love London.
Well, that's where the majority of our listeners are listening to you right now. I'm getting a lot of messages in, basically saying, you know what an inspiration you are to so many people around the world. When you do come to London, we would love to basically arrange a visit. We've got a huge youth centre here. We do a whole range of activities, and you know what, it would mean the world to us to have you down. But George, I just want to say from the depth of our hearts, on behalf of Minhaj Quran International and Ramadan FM 2018 and into our entire team, we'd like to thank you for sparing some time to talk to us, and we wish you all the best in your future, and keep those grilling machines coming out, man.
Well, send my love and best wishes to all of your listeners and tell them I love them.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
George. What an honor.
George, what an honor to speak to you. Wish you all the best, and we hope to see you soon. Not talk soon, but we hope to see you soon.